NXIVM was founded in Albany, New York in 1998. At first, the company was believed to be a marketing firm. The founders of the group, including Keith Raniere, a self-proclaimed genius with an IQ of 240, and Nancy Salzman, a former registered nurse. It is self-described as a community guided by humanitarian principles that seek to empower people, but it was so much more than that. Behind closed doors, it was a sex trafficking pyramid scheme that lured women into slavery. At its highest time of membership, it is said that the cult garnered about 16,000 members across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Most members of the group were young and middle-aged women who joined NXIVM with the promise of self-help and virtuous revival. High-ranking members were instructed to recruit new followers and develop their own branches of the cult. Some of the largest offsprings include Executive Success Program, the initial phase, DOS, the Dark Sexual Branch, JNS, the Women's Empowerment Group, and Society of Protectors, which aims at men. Although accusations of the group being a cult have been made essentially since the creation of it in 1998, the federal government didn't begin to take action until 20 years later in mid-2018. I am an outsider to the group, but having grown up in Clifton Park, New York, the home base of all operations, this story is all that more eerie to me. We can consider NXIVM because it meets all 6 of John Swale's characteristics of a discourse community. Number 1, it has a set of goals, which is their 12-point mission statement. Number 2, they use various mechanisms to communicate, including their manual, a website which is now shut down, and a series of texting drills between the masters and its members. Number 3, they use mechanisms of feedback, which they held their routine at their meetings. At these meetings, the quote-unquote slaves were given assignments by the vanguard or prefect, and they were expected to complete them. Number 4, the use of genres to communicate is the manual, which is used to communicate the rules and policies that were expected to be obeyed by the members. 5, a list of lexis, which we'll get into later, and finally, 6 being that members have a wide range of expertise. The different ranks include masters and coaches, among others. Those at the top subsequently knew more about the group than the bottom line followers. There is a 12-point mission statement that NXIVM follows, as well as the subcategory groups that include Executive Success Programs and DOS. The members of NXIVM were forced to memorize and recite the mission statement and follow it with chanting, "Thank you, Vanguard," as tribute to its author. The mission statement is too long to go over the whole thing, but one of the major points is point 11, which states, "People control the money, wealth, and resources of the world. It is essential for the survival of humankind for these things to be controlled by successful, ethical people. I pledge to ethically control as much of the money, wealth, and resources of the world as possible within my success plan. I will always support the ethical control of these things." To understand how NXIVM members felt about the goals, we can look to quote from Allison Mack's court hearing, where she states, "I joined NXIVM to find a purpose. I was lost and I wanted to find a place, a community in which I would feel comfortable." Part 3. Explanation of Community Lexis. In order to get across all the lexises I want to cover, I am going to list them on screen with a description of what they are. The genre of NXIVM is the manual that was given at the Executive Success Program. The Executive Success Program is how NXIVM recruiters lured its members with the promises to lead them to a better life. At the ESP, members learned the values, goals, and message of the group through the manual. This is where they were given a written manual of the Code of NXIVM. Although the manual was not intentionally published by anyone within the NXIVM circle, a former member contacted Rick Allen Ross, an anti-cult activist, who found the Cult Education Institute and publicized some of the major points of the manual. One of the major points of the manual was the 12-point mission statement, which summarized the goals of NXIVM and the expected behaviors of its members. The following few slides will be excerpts of where the lexuses are used in the genre.